course,
So contextually, was it
Yeah, was
that
it
bad?
it was pretty bad. I mean,
What do you think about what Arnold said?
oh man, it's funny because I put up a post about it. He said, "Screw your freedom," and I just quickly in my head was like, "Oh, screw your freedom, huh?" Like he gave this big speech about everything I have, my career, my success, my family. I owe to America. I owe it to the freedom I got. I owe it, and then he's like, "Screw your freedom." I think Arnold actually regrets what he said. I don't. I think I've seen him walk it back a little bit. I think that he realizes that what he said struck a chord in a lot of Americans who really believe in
Probably
freedom.
really hurtful, especially to people that defend the country.
If you're in the military or anything like that, yeah, like of course you're gonna be pissed. I saw like Brian Shaw like ripped his posters off the wall. Callum von Moger ripped his posters off the wall. Said I'll never
Whoa.
associate with Arnold again. I was supposed to be
Oh.
like the next Arnold, but like fuck Arnold basically. And
What was like? Okay, so did you guys either of you see the whole thing, or
yeah,
was
I watched the whole video, of course.
So contextually, was it
Yeah, was
that
it
bad?
as bad?
It was pretty bad. I mean, it was like this. It was he basically said he said you have these people saying, "Oh, this wearing these masks is cutting into my freedom." Well, screw your freedoms. Freedom comes with a lot of responsibility and obligations, and I
Okay.
believe that could be true, but like your obligation isn't to just listen to everything the government says. Like that's not freedom. Like that's not.
But in his particular case, wasn't he talking about going to the Arnold Classic or no?
No, he was just talking about
Oh,
wearing.
okay.
He was talking about wearing a mask, and he's like, "You're a schmuck if you don't wear a mask."
Ah,
And to me,
That's
if
even
you were
worse,
to
'cause I thought he
actually
was-
follow the science, wearing a mask doesn't do shit. Like we know that. We've seen that a million times in the science that a lot of people don't feel that these things are effective. Now, the one thing that I've found weird about the whole pandemic is everybody says that the N95 masks are very effective. Why didn't we put all our resources into like making those
you don't even ever see him.
something mandatory? I've never
You
even
literally
seen,
never see
I've
him.
never seen one person with an N95 mask. And like that would actually make sense if they're effective and whatever, and you have to wear them, like whatever. But
Mm.
in all, I put up a post about it, and it probably did better than any post I've put up. I got like 40,000 likes. Or
It is
something.
interesting. You have a good point, because if we are like following the science, which a lot of people say that we're trying to do, then that would imply that we would be like, hey, let's try to work towards getting as many N95 masks as possible.
Yeah.
And what people said about that when I brought it up to people, they're like, well, then you can't have like cool designs on it. Stuff like, why couldn't you? You could have the same shit with a N95 mask. You could do the same kind of business with it. You could actually, and who knows, man. Hopefully, to me, there's simpler solutions than what's being put out. I put up a post yesterday that got a ton of heat, but it's kind of awesome. I like it. I like the heat. So I put up a post that said that Dr. Janet Woodcock, it's a real name.
Hey, now.
She's the same person that was in charge. She was in charge for a year when like OxyContin was approved. Now that doesn't mean anything that necessarily the FDA approves a lot of things. The point I was making is like, look at where OxyContin went. Look how sideways that went. Look at the Alzheimer drug that Dr. Janet Woodcock was in charge of pushing through when everybody said this is going to kill a lot of people, and she still pushed it through. Look at this so-called, not even a vaccine, but this thing that they have out now, this medication. What is that going to do? We don't know. For people, it's just as ridiculous for me to say that it's going to be bad as it is for people saying it's going to be good.
Mm-hmm.
It's just as ridiculous. It's like, I don't know either. I don't know if it's going to be bad.
Well, I think that people are under the illusion that the vaccine is going to prevent them from getting sick.
My best friend in the entire
And
world,
it could prevent you from getting sicker.
my best friend in the entire world called me yesterday. He is the head of one of the divisions of Pfizer. And he basically said, you have this vaccine. It works for some people, doesn't work for other people. People still get sick. He's like, it should just be a choice.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a guy that works for the company. He's like, it's stupid. It's not been shown. Like, yeah, it's been shown to be effective, but it hasn't shown to prevent it or prevent the spread of it or prevent this and that. And so, like, we've seen that. Why not?
Are you still trying to diet on chicken, broccoli, rice, dry turkey? It's no fun. And a lot of people avoid steak, but one of our sponsors, Piedmontese Beef, has amazing cuts of steak, some that have really low fat, like their flat iron steak that has 4 grams of fat and 80 grams of protein per steak. And then their ribeyes, which are just amazing, juicy, and fatty. So there's no reason to diet with chicken anymore. Andrew, can you please tell the people how to get Piedmontese?
It's over at Piedmontese.com. That's Piedmontese.com. At checkout, enter promo code Power Project for 25% off your entire order. Head over there right now.
I think there needs to be more messaging around. You're probably going to get sick.
Yeah.
And that's okay. You're probably going to get it. And even if you're vaccinated, you're probably going to get it. You just might get it to a little bit lesser degree. I think that's healthy. I don't know what the other option is, just to stay inside and not do anything.
I'm not anti-vax. I'm not against the vaccine. I am against it for myself because I have autoimmune conditions that I'm still trying to figure out today. I wake up with pain every day. A lot of it's gone away. I've fixed a lot of it.
So you just don't think it's a good decision for you?
I don't think it's a good decision for me right now. It may be, but you know what? If they're like, hey, you can't shoot your next movie because you can't travel, I'll be like, yeah, give me this stupid shot. Like, I don't care. Like, it doesn't affect me that. If there's something that's going to like alter my life in a negative way, I'll probably just take it because I don't care that much.
That's what happened to me. Like, I ended up getting it because like I needed to be able to go to all the jujitsu classes possible.
There you go.
I got it. Like, I wasn't tripping.
And I'm not gonna be mad at you for getting it.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
but
I hate you.
real quick on the Arnold thing, man, I don't know. I think people are just over fucking reacting for some
I think
fucking
so,
attention. Because when you gave me the context of why he said it, okay, like, oh, like he has an opinion on masks. Screw your freedom. He wasn't actually like. People are fucking so emotional. Like tearing off posters of Arnold on the fucking wall, dude. Really?
Yeah,
You're gonna change the fact that he inspired you to lift weights when you were a kid?
I think
it didn't change that.
Are you that much? I'm sorry.
Well, also, I mean, if we're gonna start to hit like the moral drum, right, and start to go to the beat of that, then I mean, he fucked his maid or whatever, right? I mean, and had a baby while he was married, and it's like, why is this the straw that broke the camel's back? It's not odd.
I almost wrote "screw your freedom, screw your maid, screw everyone," but I didn't do that. Because I didn't want to make it like super negative. I just my point of putting together a video, I was like, screw your freedoms, who needs them anyway, right? And that's actually a line from Mad Dog about his balls and bigger, stronger, faster. who needs them anyway? And so it was more like that. But like my point in doing that was just to show people him saying screw your freedom up against him saying, I am so happy to have my freedom, to me was like a juxtaposition. And as a filmmaker, like, that's just what I do. I just look for things that are gonna cause people to go, holy shit. It's gonna make people remember it, right? And like Gary Vee says, if you can like entertain people and inform them at the same time, then you win.
All I gotta say is Arnold's still dope.
Yeah,
I think so.
Man.
Yeah.
Well, and also
Who
too,
cares?
people can take content from any one of us here and have us say the exact opposite thing that we once believed before. The difference is that no one fucking cares because we're not Arnold.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I think that like when Arnold's, he hasn't made a good movie in 35 years. I think like when Terminator 2 was the last movie he made that was good. But we still like him, like we don't care. Like, I don't care. I see him at Gold's Gym. I'm like not gonna like shun him or like, he's still Arnold. He's still the best guy in the whole gym.
That's a good question.
Yes.
Bottom line.
Oh, Jingle All the Way, was that him?
Jingle All the Way.
Oh, that was a good movie. That was a good movie.
I was joking, but
He's in a lot. He's in a lot of good movies.
But he's also like lately hasn't been in anything like, he's older.
He's old.
Yeah,
he's old, Arnie.
Still would love to see him come back in like a good, like they're making a new Predator movie, but it's gonna have a female in it. Like the female's gonna.
Let's
be the
not
star.
get into this part.
Yeah. and it's like, why don't they just put the older?
And that's all the time we got for today.
Why couldn't they make, if they have this new dope idea for Predator? Why isn't Arnold just in it? Like, who cares?
Who knows?
Who cares if he's old?
I can't believe he was Mr. Freeze too. That was that was a terrible movie. It was like the worst.
Is it true that like Jean-Claude Van Damme was the Predator for a while and they like shot a bunch of stuff and it was horrible?
He was too small. Yeah, he wasn't imposing. He
Yeah,
looked like
that's-
it was a predator doing all these like crazy. He looked like a Brazilian.
and he was in like,
capoeira guy
and he
or
was in
whatever.
some horrible suit,
He was like dancing.
and they had to scratch all this stuff, and they had to start over. And then they had some behemoth guy that they had in a suit, and then somebody came up with that legendary that
Stan Winston,
outfit
I
or
think.
whatever the fuck that thing is. That
Yeah,
thing's
yeah, yeah.
crazy. That guy is so scary in Predator.
yeah.
I don't know if that's is that true? Do you know if that's true?
It's somewhat true.
Some
I believe
lure.
they shot. I don't know if they actually shot the movie, but they definitely had like shot tests and different things like that.
They're like, this
shot
ain't
test.
working. Imagine like, this ain't working.
How big is Jean-Claude Van Damme as a human? Is he like what, 5'8" or something?
Yeah, he's
Yeah?
not very tall. I was with him in Thailand
Yeah.
doing. They did this Kickboxer 2 reboot.
Yeah.
And it was so funny because like Half Thor was in the movie.
Really?
Yeah, but he was really angry at the time, and he hated all
Big
the,
and angry.
Yeah.
So I don't know what he was going through at the time, but it was like before he ever beat Brian Shaw,
Yeah, yeah.
and he was just like angry, and like he would talk to me because I was like Mark's brother, and he knew who Mark was and stuff, but he wouldn't talk to anybody on the set. He ended up getting in a fight with like one of the producers, telling him he was going to kill him.
Imagine getting in a fight with that guy.
I couldn't even imagine it, and I'm like, they would be like, "Oh, Half Thor's out of control again," and it was like so listen to the crew. It was like Half Thor and like Mike Tyson were both on the same set.
Oh, wow. That's intense.
Then when we were in Las Vegas, it was like Brian Shaw and Mike Tyson, which was interesting. They hung out a lot. And then when we were in, but we were in Thailand, and it was like I was with Roy Nelson, the fighter,
Oh yeah.
Vanderlei Silva, and Fabricio Verdum.
Wow.
Why am I only hearing
And-
about this now?
Yeah.
I didn't know
I
about
did
the
this a
Vegas
while-
part.
I did this
I
a
heard
while-
Chris has
Thailand
all the
part.
stories of like
Yeah.
everything.
Well, one of my friends was producing this Kickboxer
Mhm.
2 movie, which ended up being terrible.
I'm sorry
but-
that I'm gonna have to miss this, but I have my
Yeah.
second morning doo-doo to
Oh,
take.
there you
so
go.
I'll see you
Hey,
guys.
Fabricio,
Fabricio
second
Verdum, he I think you said you've seen him bench like 185 or something like that, right?
He was really, really weak. And then my friend Jared Bunch, who is a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, he played for the New York Giants. He's a tank. He would bench, he'd bench well over 400 pounds, and he got for Fabricio doing 225 for reps and different things. And his strength after he trained like that, he came back into the heavyweight division and cleaned house for a while. He was like a lot stronger,
Yeah.
and he's one of the best Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu
Oh, yeah.
guys in the
Mhm.
world. The most interesting guy that I've met was Vanderlei Silva, because he was honestly the nicest human being I probably have ever met in my life.